Did you know some of the healthiest fruits on your plate could be the very reason you're feeling tingling hands or weakness in your legs? Yes, the fruits you've trusted for years to protect your heart, boost your collagen, and keep you looking young now be quietly betraying you. If you've ever stood up and felt your knees wobble or woken up with numb fingers and thought, is this just old age? You need to hear this. As a physician who has worked with older adults for over 40 years, I've seen a shocking pattern senioring. Certain fruits that trigger nerve flare-ups, muscle fatigue, and even balance issues, all because aging bodies react very differently than younger ones. It's not your fault, you're doing what you were told was healthy, but the truth is, your body has changed, and some of these collagen-rich fruits aren't helping anymore. They're quietly hurting you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you which 7 fruits to watch out for and share real stories of seniors just decide who turned things around by making one small change. Let's begin. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better attempt for you. 1. Pineapple, a hidden trigger for nerve irritation. Did you know that something as seemingly innocent as a bowl of fresh pineapple could be quietly harming, making your hands tingle and your legs feel unsteady? As a physician who has worked with aging patients for over 40 years, I've seen time and again how certain and can backfire in later life. One patient in particular, Miss Ruth Howie from Iowa, still echoes in my memory. Ruth was a vibrant, independent woman, a retired school teacher who prided herself on eating well and walking every morning. She had no idea that her love for pineapple was the hidden cause of her increasingly numb fingertips and her growing fear of falling. She told me, Thomas, I thought I was having small strokes. I couldn't feel my hands when I folded laundry. My knees gave out when I tried to step off the porch. After ruling out more serious causes like diabetes or neuropathy, we reviewed her diet. Ruth had been eating pineapple slices every morning, believing it was boosting her immunity, and collagen was shocking. Pineapple contains bromelain, an enzyme that accelerates protein breakdown, but in aging nervous systems, especially those already slowing down, it can overstimulate nerve endings, causing tingling, numbness, or leg weakness. Its high acidity can also irritate the vagus nerve, which plays a role in balance and circulation. Older it's like Rue, often more sensitive to these chemical compounds. With age, our ability to regulate nerve signals and inflammation decreases. What once felt energizing in now feel like a surge of chaos through your body. Many seniors don't connect the dots between a fruit salad and sudden dizziness or trembling fingers. When we removed pineapple from Ruth's diet, within 10 days, her symptoms dramatically eased. She could ride again without discomfort. And she no longer feared her legs buckling beneath her while gardening. Her relief was not just physical, it restored her confidence. You see, when something affects our hands or legs more than comfort, it threatens independence. It's not just pain, it's the fear of losing control. That fear is very real, and if you felt it, you are not alone. If you find yourself with unexplained tingling, sudden weakness, or even anxiety that seems to come from hard, look at what you're eating each day. And yes, even fruits. So, if pineapple might be secretly sabotaging your strength, what about oranges? The next fruit may surprise. It's likely sitting in your kitchen right now, and it may be doing more harm than good. Let's take a closer look. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 to now make me know you're with me. 2. Orange is too much of a good thing. As a doctor who has spent his life caring for older adults, I've often seen how the very things we believe are keeping us healthy can quietly turn against us. One of those things, surprisingly, is the humble orange. We've grown up thinking of oranges as the picture of health, full of vitamin C, refreshing, and good for the immune system, and while that's true in part, what most seniors don't know is that in later life, too many oranges can harm more than help, especially if you are dealing with issues like leg weakness, muscle fatigue, or that unsettling buzzing feeling in your arms and hands. Let me tell you about Miss Gerald Conway, an 81-year-old former truck driver from Ohio. When he came to see me, he was deeply worried. He said, "Doc, I'm dropping things, and sometimes I feel like my legs just don't belong to me anymore." He had no history of stroke or diabetes, and his heart was in surprisingly good shape, but every day, churned full glass of orange juice with breakfast, snacked on orange slices during the day, and ended dinner with half a grapefruit, convinced he was doing right by his body. Here's what we discovered: the citrus fruits, especially oranges, were pushing his body's potassium levels too high and throwing off the delicate electrolyte balance seniors need for healthy nerve function. Combined with the natural sugar load and acidic content, this was triggering nerve misfires and mild muscle dysfunction. In other words, his body was overstimulated in ways it could no longer manage. This led to what we call transient peripheral nerve dysregulation, a fancy term, but what it means is this: his nerves were short-circuiting, sending signals when they shouldn't, and not sending them when they should. That's why Gerald's legs felt heavy, and his grip was slipping. When we reduced his citrus intake to just 1 serving a week, balanced with hydration and a slight increase from leafy greens, things changed. He told me with tears in his eyes, "I can hold my grandson again without fearing I'll drop him." Now, imagine how many seniors across America are unknowingly going through the same struggle, blaming age or arthritis, when the real culprit might be sitting right in their fruit bowl. This is why I urge every older adult to not assume that healthy means harmless. Your body changes, your nervous system changes, and your response to even natural foods can shift dramatically. It's not about fear, it's about awareness, and awareness can protect your strength, your safety, and your difty. If oranges can do this, just wait until you hear what one of the most beloveds in America is doing to grow in your legs. Trust me. The next one is sweet, juicy, and shockingly risky. 3. Mango, the sugar collagen trap. There's something comforting about a sweet, ripe mango, the soft texture, the tropical scent. It brings blues of summer vacations, barbecues, and family gatherings. But what most seniors don't realize is that beneath the sweetness lies a danger that can quietly drain their stability. I remember one patient, Mrs. Doris Langston, a 69-year-old grandmother from Florida. She was lean and was lively, but behind her cheer was a growing fear. She came into my office with trembling hands and a complaint she couldn't ignore anymore. She said, "Dr. Thomas, sometimes when I stand up, my legs feel like they've turned to jelly. I hold on to walls just to get across the room." Her blood work was stable, no major red flags, but I dug deeper, especially into her diet. Every morning, Doris made a smoothie packed with mango, banana, and a splash of orange juice. She thought she was making a healthy choice, and for someone in their 30s or 40s, it might have been, but for her aging nervous system and slowing insulin response, it was too much. You see, mangoes, although rich in vitamin A and antioxidants, contain a staggering amount of natural sugar. Sangria can carry over 45 grams of sugar, which is more than 11 teaspoons. For a senior, especially someone with a slower metabolism or borderline insulin resistance, which is far more common than most people think, this surge in sugar can cause a rapid drop in energy, sudden weakness in the legs, and spikes in nerve inflammation. The sugar also interacts with collagen production. Yes, mangoes help build collagen, but when collagen is formed in the presence of high glucose, it becomes stiff and less elastic, contributing to joint stiffness, nerve compression, and poor circulation. This creates a trap. Your body is trying to rebuild, but it's using damaged material. In Doris's case, her symptoms weren't caused by aging alone. Her daily mango routine was overstimulating her insulin, flooding her bloodstream with glucose, and causing nerve miscommunication. The buzzing in her feet, the delayed to settle her legs, the subtle tremors in her fingers. Once we reduced the mango intake, and replaced it with lower glycemic fruits, like berries along with small fruit stacks, her symptoms noticeably improved. She came back 3 weeks later, and said something I'll never forget. She said, "I can walk to my mailbox with ease now, I feel like myself again." That's what this is really about. Not just food, but freedom, the freedom to move confidently. The peace of knowing your body isn't betraying you. If mangoes can do this behind such a sweet disguise, imagine what's lurking inside the next fruit. One that's praised for heart health, but may actually be silently confusing your brain and your balance. Let's uncover it together. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. 4. Grapes. Neurological confusion in a bite. Grapes seem harmless, even comforting. They're easy to chew, bite, and often recommended for heart health. I've seen many seniors toss a handful of grapes into their cereal or nibble on them while watching the news, thinking it's a smart, low-effort snack. But what if I told you that for many older adults, especially those struggling with balance, numbness, or cognitive fogness, grapes might be silently worsening the problem? A few years ago I treated a patient named Harold Jenkins, a retired Navy officer from Pennsylvania, a proud man who lived alone. Harold had started noticing strange sensations, tingling in his arms after dinner, a buzzing in his feet while lying in bed, and more frightening, sudden lapses in memory. Thomas, he said to me with quiet frustration, I'm not myself, I feel like I'm glitching. He had no diabetes, his blood pressure was under control and his medications hadn't changed, but during our conversation, I learned that every evening, Harold would snack on grapes. Sometimes a full bowl. It was his healthy dessert. What he didn't know was how much damage that seemingly innocent habit might be causing. Grapes are high in natural sugars, but they also contain compounds called salicylates and histamines, which in some aging bodies can trigger neuroinflammatory responses. For seniors whose nervous systems are already slowing down, these chemical compounds can overstimulate certain nerve pathways leading to sensations like numbness, zapping feelings, or unsteady walking. Additionally, grapes are rich in resveratrol, a powerful antioxidant, but in excessive amounts it may inhibit brain barrier function, which can worsen symptoms in individuals with early cognitive decline or past mini strokes. In Harold's case, we gradually reduced his grape intake and introduced more stable snacks like almond butter, whole grain crackers, and low-sugar berries. Within 2 weeks his tingling subsided. More importantly, he said, my mind feels clearer, I don't forget on the counter anymore. I share his story not to scare you, but to protect you. So many seniors are doing their best, choosing fruit instead of chips, trying to follow what they believe smart path, but with aging bodies, the rules change. What supports one system may sabotage another. If you've been feeling odd, tingling, occasional dizziness, or brain fog, and can't figure out why, it's worth picking the grapes in your fridge. And speaking of surprises, what if I told you there's another fruit? One with a cherry red glow and a reputation for reducing inflammation that could be quietly weakening the muscles in your back and legs. The truth may startle you. Let's take a closer look. 5. Cherries, arthritis helper or nerve aggravator. For many older adults, cherries seem like a gift from nature. They're often praised in health magazines for reducing inflammation and easing arthritis pain. You might interest recommended for joint health and think, well, that's exactly what I need. But what you may not know is that sweet cherries, the kind found in most grocery store bins, could be lose it for your nerves and your legs. I had a patient, Mistress Lillian Corbett, age 72, from North Carolina, who came into my clinic with a strange set of complaints. She was active, walked daily, and had no major chronic illnesses, but she was starting to feel sharp tingling in her lower back and calves, especially in the evenings. At times she'd wake up in the night with her legs aching, almost buzzing. She said, I feel like my muscles are short-circuiting, holding back tears. I've started using my walker again and it breaks my heart. Her diet at first glance seemed nearly perfect, low sodium, low processed sugar, but she had recently started eating large handfuls of sweet cherries each day, thinking they would help with her joint pain. What she didn't realize was that these cherries were high in fructose and sorbitol, two naturally occurring. For many seniors are hard to metabolize. Sorbitol is particularly troublesome for older adults as we age. Our gut's ability to absorb certain sugar alcohols weakens. This leads to fermentation in the intestines, bloating, and what we now understand as gut-driven nerve disruption. where inflammation in the digestive system contributes to nerve sensitivity, muscle spasms, and even lower back discomfort. It's something I've seen more and more in my aging patients. The gut and brain are deeply connected. What irritates one often affects the other. In Lillian's case, we removed sweet cherries from her diet for just 2 weeks. Her symptoms began to fade. Note leg buzzing, no more uncertainty when standing up. And perhaps most importantly, she regained the confidence to take walks again without fear of her legs giving out. So, I ask you this, if something as small as a cherry could bring you to the edge of falling or waking up dark, unsure of your own balance, is it worth the risk? Sometimes the very foods that promise healing carry hidden dangers when the body is older, more delicate, and more reactive. It's not about avoiding everything, it's about knowing what works for your age, your system, and your system. And if cherries can stir up nerve trouble from your gut, imagine what the next fruit, small, fuzzy, and green, might dig deep inside your digestive system. Silently sapping your strength, what's hidden inside kiwi may surprise you. 6. Kiwi, high in collagen, tough on digestion. Kiwi often wears a health halo. It's bright tropical, and loaded with vitamin C. Many seniors add it to their breakfast or blend it into smoothies, thinking it's a wonderful, cool way to slow the effects of aging. But for some older adults, this innocent fruit can cause more harm than good, especially when it comes to digestion and health. I remember a patient, Miss Frank Delaney, 78, from Arizona, a widower and retired Air Force mechanic. Frank came to see me after weeks of unexplained exhaustion. His symptoms weren't dramatic, but they were deeply troubling. Light numbness in his feet, occasional discomfort after meals, and what he described as a deep fatigue that starts in my gut and moves to my legs. It wasn't something he could explain to his friends, but it was keeping him from living with confidence. The habit of eating 2 kiwis each morning. He said, "It's good for my skin, doc," with a smile. But what he didn't know was that kiwi contains actinidin, a powerful enzyme that breaks down protein. For seniors, this can disrupt digestion, irritate the vagus nerve, and reduce the body's ability to properly absorb essential nutrients, especially magnesium and B vitamins, which are critical for muscle strength and nerve stability. Over time, this subtle nutrient imbalance can lead to symptoms like Frank's, weakness, numbness, and even misfiring nerve signals. In aging bodies, these effects are often chalked up to just getting old. But they're not inevitable, but preventable. When Frank removed kiwi from his diet, and replaced it with gentler fruits like baked apples and bananas, his symptoms gradually faded. He said, "It's like I came back into my own body," tears welling in his eyes. If something as small as a kiwi could throw off your body's strength, just wait until you hear what one so-called superfood berry might be doing to your nerves and immune system. Let's talk about acai next, and what every senior needs to know before adding it to their diet. 7. Acai berries, superfood or super stressor. In today's health culture, acai berries are hailed as a miracle, packed with antioxidants, used in smoothies and supplements promising anti-aging, heart support, and brain health. But for older adults, especially those over 65, acai may carry a hidden cost that most don't see coming. Beneath the glossy superfood label lies a powerful fruit that, when not balanced correctly, can exhaust your nerve and stir up low-level inflammation, especially in bodies that are no longer as resilient as they once were. I remember one patient well, Mrs. Helen McGrath, 83, from Oregon, sharp-minded and independent. She was always to try the latest health trend. Her granddaughter introduced her to acai bowls, and soon she was adding acai powder to her cereal, blendings, even taking capsules. She said, "It makes me feel young, at least at first," but soon she began experiencing deep fatigue, by early noon, strange twitching in her calves, and an overwhelming heaviness in her limbs. She said, "It's like I'm dragging myself through the day, and my hands won't stop tingling." When we evaluated her diet, it became clear Helen was unknowingly overloading on omega-6s, fatty acids and polyphenols that, while hydration can disrupt immune and nervous system balance in seniors. Acai's dense nutritional profile is metabolically demanding and aging cells often can't process, that insects hike effects like nerve sensitivity, chronic tiredness, or digestive strain. We removed decay from her diet, and within 10 days her energy returned, the tingling eased, and perhaps most importantly, she said, "I feel like myself again." You see, even the healthiest foods must be approached with wisdom, because your needs at 80 aren't the 80, aren't 40, and no label, no trend, no promise is worth your independence or comfort. Now that we've uncovered the truth about these 7 fruits, the real question remains. How do you know to eat to stay strong, sharp, and steady every single day? The answer may surprise you, and it starts with listening to your aging body, not the latest trend. Let's all together. Final word, protecting your strength starts with knowing the truth. Aging does not mean surrendering your power, but it does mean listening more carefully to what your body is telling you and what it's quietly begging you to avoid. The 7 fruits we've discussed, pineapple, oranges, mangoes, grapes, cherries, kiwi, and acai, are not inherently bad. In fact, they've all been praised for their health benefits, but for older adults, the body processes food differently. What once gave you energy may now be stealing it. What once supported your skin may now be overstimulating your nerves, draining your legs of strength, or fogging your mind with confusion. As a doctor who has walked alongside hundreds of seniors, I've seen too many cases where simple diet difference between fear and freedom, between needing a walker and walking tall. The goal here is not fear, it's empowerment through understanding. You deserve to feel steady on your feet. You deserve to hold a coffee cup without tingling fingers. Not limited by food choices you were never warned about. So take this knowledge to heart. Share it with your loved ones. Talk to your doctor. Review your diet with fresh eyes, not out of panic, but out of respect for the incredible body that has carried you this far. Because when you protect your energy balance and your strength, you protect your independence. And in the journey of aging with grace, independence is everything. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your fees a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms.